Hello everybody, I haven't watched the Jordan Peterson video which has gone sort of viral at the moment because I wanted to watch it in real time because I think it's important to really get the laughs out of this situation because it's so unintentionally hilarious. It's unbelievable. I've only seen what most people out there have seen, so that one clip of him saying this.
Up yours, woke moralists. We'll see who cancels who.
And basically what Jordan Peterson has done, he's created a 15-minute video about him being banned from Twitter. But of course, there are sort of, I imagine, without seeing the video first, right, I imagine there's maybe some, let's say, half-truths in that. Some tiny little porcupines propping up. I mean, already the fact he was apparently suspended for a short period of time from Twitter, it's hard to establish whether that is the case. But the reason why is because he wrote the following tweet about Elliot Page, a trans man, a famous actor from Hollywood. And he wrote, remember when pride was a sin and Ellen Page, the former name of Elliot Page when he was a she, just had his breast removed by a criminal physician. And then there's a link that we can't see. Now, as the usual over-the-top sort of far-right opinion there from someone who's very clever indeed. And what he's done there, he's dead named Elliot Page, which is a bit of a shitty thing to do, and made some kind of accusation about criminal behaviour. And basically, as you can see, Twitter has highlighted that tweet and asked him to delete it on the basis that if you don't delete it, then you'll probably get a suspension or, you know, whatever. Now, there are some sites out there saying that Twitter has deleted this for Jordan Peterson to teach him a lesson, when in reality, they probably just asked him to delete it, and he did, because that's how you stay on Twitter. Now, so without further ado, let's have a look at this video, shall we?
Hello, everyone. A few days ago, I penned an irritated tweet in response to one of the latest happenings on the increasingly heated culture war front, in response to the decision of an actor named Elliot Page. I am employing this awkward and impossible naming style because it is now apparently mandatory and am probably doing it wrong nonetheless.
Okay, so it's already hilarious. He's forced to say things. Well, you're not forced to say things at all because it's Twitter for a start, right? So you're following rules of a private company, and you know they've asked you very kindly to delete a thing which they have deemed breaks their rules, and you either do that or you don't. And you know what? Your life isn't over if you don't do that. You just don't have access to Twitter for either a period of time or forevermore. And do remember, this is a man who once said that he has no need for social media anymore, and him and Dave Rubin are going to go off and create their own version of social media via their own sort of Patreon platform where they have their own little version of Twitter going on. And I at the time said probably a good idea is to call it Grifter. But they never actually got round to doing that, did they? Because they all rely on being on Twitter. They rely on saying almost or absolutely the worst things in the world. Donald Trump is a very good example of that. And the idea is that you say all this bad stuff, and then if you get banned, it's someone else's fault for yourself saying the worst thing in the world and breaking all the rules, okay? It's mandatory. It's mandatory for me to say these. It's not at all. You can be a dick if you want to be a dick. But if you're on a private platform being a dick, someone's going to say at some point, you're being a dick. Stop being a dick.
As you're doing it wrong is the whole point of what is being made mandatory.
It's not mandatory.
But also, I'm trying to make a point. I've essentially been banned from Twitter as a consequence.
I've essentially been banned from Twitter. As far as I can tell, you were temporarily suspended. That is somewhat different than being banned from Twitter, okay? And it's because you broke the rules that they clearly stated in their fucking policy guidelines. I'm such a victim. I'm such a victim of saying stupid things. Oh, woe is me. Whose fault can it be? It's not mine.
I say banned, although technically I have been suspended. But the suspension will not be lifted unless I delete the hateful tweet in question, and I would rather die than do that.
I haven't been banned. I've actually been suspended, but I've said it in such a dramatic way. It makes it sound like I have been banned. Also, I actually did say I have been banned, but then sort of rescinded that. But it's important to pretend that this is the worst thing in the world. Yeah?
And I would rather die than do that.
I would rather die than delete a tweet which is clearly, according to Twitter, a hateful tweet, you know, a targeted attack sort of tweet, okay? He would rather die than do that, than delete it. What he would do is actually make a video where he's pretty much the biggest snowflake the world has ever seen. The most ginormous pussy that anyone has ever seen in their life, because Twitter told him off for doing a bad thing. Oh, it's so bad to be a big professor who made a bad tweet. Oh, please feel sorry for me.
And I would rather die than do that. And hopefully it will not come to that, although who the hell knows in these increasingly strange days.
What is he implying? That he would commit suicide if he has to delete a tweet? Is that what he's saying? I'm going to rewind that back and show that again, because A, 2 cameras, that is overly dramatic for what he's talking about. Like, close up on the most important bit. And also, I need clarification about that.
And I would rather die than do that. And hopefully it will not come to that, although who the hell knows in these increasingly strange days.
Yes, I believe he's saying that he might actually die, presumably of his own volition, you know, if someone says to him, please delete a tweet, which he is somehow blaming on other people. That's quite remarkable. That I know that we are often told that Jordan Peterson is the stupid man's smart person. Even the stupid people are unable to work out that that's an insult, but trust me, it is. But he's actually relying on stupid people thinking at this point, oh my God, our master, our Lord and Saviour, he might be deceased soon and it's all Twitter's fault.
What was it that I said that caused such a fuss? And that fuss is just beginning. And even more importantly and complexly, what exactly was it that I said that resulted in the ban? Here's the tweet in question. Remember when pride was a sin? And Ellen Page just had her breasts removed by a criminal physician. Then a link to a story that detailed out the happenings. The response from Twitter, quote, violating our rules against hateful conduct. You may not promote violence against, threaten, or harass other people on the basis of race, ethnicity, national origin, sexual orientation, gender, gender identity, religious affiliation, age, disability, or serious disease. By clicking delete, you acknowledge that your tweet violated the Twitter rules.
I just don't understand why. I mean, you can say that I'm an absolute idiot for not understanding a particular word here. Feel free, if you're a Peterson fan, to rip the shitting piss out of me right here, because I don't understand why he's used the word pride in this instance. Remember when pride was a sin? A person who no longer has breasts. What? Am I missing something here? I mean, I've literally just put up the definition of pride, just in case I, for some reason, don't understand a word that we've known since we were infants. A feeling of deep pleasure or satisfaction derived from one's own achievements. The achievements of those with whom one is closely associated, or from qualities or possessions that are widely admired. And then she cut her breasts off. A surgeon doesn't make, I can't see the link there. There is somewhat of an irony that Jordan Peterson seems to be proud of making a tweet that got himself in trouble, and he's proud of being a provocateur of, you know, offence and so forth. And, you know, pride is a sin. I mean, it was a sin, wasn't it, Jordan? I mean, what? Such a headfuck, this.
Delete. If you think we've made a mistake, submit an appeal to us. Please note that, should you do so, your account will remain locked while we review your appeal.
The smarmy face on him is incredible. I love it so much. It's, just delete the tweet. You've broken their rules, whether you like it or not. That is the case. You don't have to be on this platform. Go and make your own, like I said earlier, like you said earlier as well. Or use the other far-right platforms that all the other people who are banned use. Just go to one of those. They say it's great, even though no one pays them attention anymore. I mean, that's why you're on Twitter, because that's your biggest platform. And the whole point of being a prick on Twitter is to say so many bad things. You get so much attention and people talking about you. It's about engagement, and that is why your Lawrence Foxes, your Darren Grimes, your Jordan Petersons are popular, because they say god awful shit all the time. And it's all about walking that very thin tightrope, that very thin line of just about avoiding being suspended while still saying the very worst things. Because when you're suspended, or even worse, banned, that means you have lost a massive platform and lots of money and attention. And what you're doing here is you're pretending you're some kind of fucking god for saying something that is against the rules. And it's unbelievable, really.
Let's take this apart. First, it is clearly the case that I did not promote violence against or threaten anyone with my missive.
It's not, you haven't violated every single thing that they've said on their tweet. That is a generic response to harmful or offensive tweets. You've done maybe one or two of the things in the long list of things they're saying. For example, one of the things is you're not allowed to attack someone on the basis of their race. I don't recall you saying anything about the colour of her skin or attacking her on that front. But for that logic, that what you're doing now, you'll have to include race in there. Let's see if he does.
So that leaves the arguably lesser sin of harass. Let's assume, since I wasn't informed, that was the crime.
So what he's done there is he's cherry-picked the very worst things in that statement from Twitter and said, no, I haven't done that. But he's conveniently left out all the other things that he hasn't done.
And further, harassment on the basis of so-called gender identity, since Twitter did not do me the favor of actually specifying my crime, and there are many possibilities on that front. We unfortunately have to guess at why this has occurred. And
it's because, and I've just said it, it's a generic "you've been a bad person" response to one of your tweets. And it's, oh God, you're supposed to be a fucking intellectual.
That's actually a big problem in and of itself, and also indicative of the utter carelessness of the Twitter organization with regard to the propriety of its own censorial actions. I should at least know exactly what I did wrong if I am required to acknowledge that my tweet violated the Twitter rules.
Jesus Christ. I mean, I've seen people throw their toys out the pram before, but this is taking the mickey, isn't it? I must say, you must specify exactly what I've done wrong. So, just to clarify, this video is on Jordan Peterson's channel. You can watch the full thing if you want via the link that I've left below. But this has then been used by the Daily Wire, who signed Jordan Peterson up after he made this video. The controversial, can't say whatever you want to, Jordan Peterson is now available for a pricey sum on the Daily Wire, where he will be able to say whatever he wants, because there's no censorship here. Yes, you can be a cunt 24/7 on the Daily Wire. And so that's what it is. This whole thing is him pretending to be the victim to promote his new service where you've got to pay money to see him talk bollocks. I mean, I'll give you this, right? I'm taking a piss out of him being the stupid person that he is, but in many ways, it's quite clever what he's done marketing-wise, because a lot of fucking thick wankers will sign up to hear him say the unsayable.
What rules, you sons of bitches? Exactly. Precisely. Because such things matter when the accusations start flying.
What rules, you sons of bitches, is the second funniest quote I've seen so far from this video. And bear in mind, I've only seen two. So hopefully the funniest one is coming up just soon.
So what did I say that might constitute harassment? Well, many things, hypothetically. Let's begin with, remember when pride was a sin?
Okay, here we go. Hopefully he's going to explain the thing I did not understand earlier. This is going to make perfect sense, right? Right? Let's find out.
Although that is merely a factual statement, because under the old rules, applicable even a decade ago, pride was a sin and had been recognized as perhaps the cardinal sin for thousands of years previously.
Yes, and your point, sir?
It still might be regarded as unacceptable to the woke authoritarian moralists who now insist, for example, that we celebrate Pride Month, not hour or day or week, but month, and who have literally called it Pride Month instead of LGBT plus month or whatever else alphabet acronym which is currently insisted upon as the only acceptable enlightened terminology.
Right, okay. The penny has dropped. He didn't actually mean the definition of the word pride, like any normal human being would, and therefore the tweet that he sent would have made sense. He's ultimately attacking the pride marches and the expression of pride, the meaning, the word pride in the sense of the sort of LGBTQ pride thing, because that is the worst thing in the world. It says a man who regularly employs gay person Dave Rubin. I mean, I can spot the hypocrisy. I don't know if anyone else can, you know? I mean, why? I mean, it's so unbelievable that the hatred they have for all of these things. It's quite something, isn't it? I've made a tweet about this that I send out to annoy various tweeters when they are anti-LGBT, and it's basically this: insert name of right-wing grifter here, in this case Jordan Peterson, gets upset at rainbow flags, adverts featuring homosexuals, actors on Doctor Who being homosexual, absolutely anything to do with pride and the existence of trans people. It's almost as if they can monetize hatred. Remember when pride was a sin? What he means is, and it's so root one. Remember when pride was a sin means you are a sinner because you are not a straight person. Wow. And he's wondering, and he's explaining that is the point of his tweet, and he's wondering why it was flagged up. You know, not just because it's attacking a trans person and, you know, making an accusation about what happened to that person's breasts, but he's actually literally admitting on camera now that it's hatred against gay people in general, transgender people, LGBT, blah, 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 all the letters in the alphabet, etc., etc. He's admitting that on camera and then wondering why it was flagged up by Twitter, who, credit to Twitter, are much cleverer than I am, because they actually put two and two together here and just saw the word pride and him attacking the gay community once again. Yeah.
I don't regard pride as a virtue. It has been classically regarded as a sin. I don't see that sexual orientation or sexual desire of any sort is something to celebrate or to take pride in. And so what I said was merely a fact.
Sexual desire is not something to celebrate, says a man who I'm guessing doesn't get laid very often. I mean, that is usually the way we... Lots of incels saying, yes, I hate it when people celebrate sexuality and being sexy and, you know, desire and stuff like that. I never have any of those issues myself.
Now, it's possible that I hurt someone's feelings because I pointed out that pride goes before, for example, a fall, but I don't care about that. Would do it again.
You're such a rebel, Jordan Peterson, for daring to say the phrase, pride comes before a fall. It's no wonder people hold you in high regard for reading out things from the past.
And also consider it my duty
Duty.
to warn those who are about to fall into a pit that the path they are on leads suddenly downhill.
If you're gay, you're going to fall into a pit. I'm not even reading between the lines there. That's literally what he's saying.
That the path they are on leads suddenly downhill.
I mean, I could make a joke here about past gay people leading downhill, path that's downhill. And usually they're known as uphill gardeners, but you know, you'll have to Google that if you're not of a certain age.
But that was probably not the reason that I was banned from Twitter. Although, as I said, I am in the position of having to guess. Next phrase, to interrogate. And Ellen Page. Now, why did I stop there?
I'll tell you what, we'll have to leave that for part 2 because I've already talked for fucking ages, so it's going to take me a while to edit this video. So, see you in a bit, I guess. Maybe 24 hours, maybe a day or two. Let's catch up in a bit, yeah? Oh, if you enjoyed this, then there's loads of other videos like this on my channel. Do subscribe and, you know, share it on social media. Tiny channel, quite funny. You'll like it if you get invested in it. And if you really like this shit, PayPal link below, etc., etc. See you next time, very soon, with more of this shit. Bye-bye.